So I just started the recording so that you can use this particular video for your future reference. So today we are going to start with the day 5. So before you start, I just want to confirm that everyone is clear about the day 4 topics, something called as count. We just begin with a count if and count if yes, and there are n number of scenarios within a count if and a count if yes. And then we started with sum if and sum if yes, and we discussed more scenarios about sum if and sum if yes, and then average if and average if yes. First, that discussed about the function called as median, and then we discussed about 5 different ways we can do a conditional formatting. So these are all topics we discussed in day 4, and today we are going to start with format painter, and then multiple values, and then transformation. And then we are going to start a very new topic today here, something called as fill series in terms of linear, growth, date, autofill, and a trend. And then something called as justify, and then fill across. So all these particular topics are interrelated. So how to generate a string pattern in Excel. So these topics 4, 5, and 6 are interrelated. And finally, we are going to discuss about something called as filter and sorting, and then advanced filter. So these are all the topics we plan for the day. So others are joining on the way. So let's give them a minute so that they won't miss anything. So these are the topics we are going to plan for today. So let's wait for a minute. Others are joining on the way. We'll continue in another 1 minute. So we'll continue. So let's begin with first scenario for the day. Something called as format painter. So the concept of format painter here, whatever the formatting that is available on a particular cell or a range, the same can be applied to some other cell or a range. So that is the concept of format painter. So under a home command tab, under a clipboard command set, you can see the command called as format painter. So what format painter will do? Copy formatting from one place and apply it to another. So this is one way, and then double click this button to apply the same formatting to multiple places in the document. So this way we can able to use format painter in 2 different ways. Say for example, I am going to apply one formatting here. So this is the formatting. This is the formatting that we applied on one cell. So I want this formatting to be applied to some other cell. Click on a cell. Here. Click on a format painter. Now you can see that it is getting selected. Plus you can see the mouse is changed as a painter option. So it means that wherever you click now, this particular formatting will be applied. If I click here, you can see that formatting is applied here. If you click on some other place, sorry, the formatting won't get applied. If I click on some other place, the formatting won't get applied. So it means that when you copy one formatting from one cell, if you place it to some other cell, that's it. You cannot repeat the same activity for the different cells or multiple cells continuously. For that, double click on a format painter. Double click. Instead of a single click, you have to make a double click on a format painter. And then come now. We just selected one cell where we applied a formatting. Again, you select some other cell. You can see formatting is applied. Again, some other cell. If you keep clicking on a or selecting on some other cell, it will keep applying the formatting, whatever we copied. And how this formatting will get stopped? You can press escape key. You can press escape key in your system. Press escape key to deactivate the format painter. So this way we can able to use format painter in two different ways. One is single click. You can copy formatting from one place to another place. Only once it is applicable. Another case, double click on a format painter. Double click. You can able to apply a formatting for a multiple cells continuously. To deactivate, press escape key. So two ways of format painter. One is single click and next one is double click. So I hope format painter concept is clear to all. So please let me know if you have any doubts, or we can proceed further with the next concept, transformation. So the concept here, something called as transformation. So what is that? See here you can see that all the data are arranged in a different rows. Different rows, all the values are arranged by each column. So we are going to interchange column values into row values and row values into a column values. So it means that this particular transaction number, customer name, region, date of sale and sales amount are now arranged in a different columns. We are going to arrange the same in a different rows. So that is the plan. So we can make it. Select a particular table, copy the table, so once again, I am getting one query here. So give me a minute, I am just reading the queries here. So some of you are asking to repeat the previous scenario. I will do that. And before that, so one more query here. And Jay Krishnan, you asked that you missed the last 10 minutes of a class in a day 3. Fine. Did you got that recorded session, and also we shared you the workbook which we used in a session. So I hope you received the workbook that we discussed in this classroom as well as the recording as well. So if you have any doubts still, we can discuss here, and I can able to help you in this case. Jay Krishna, are you clear about the day 3 concept, or do you have any doubts? So let us know. We will discuss. I hope is not available now. Jay Krishnan, that particular day, the last 10 minutes, so we actually stopped the training because of some technical issue. Whatever the video you actually saw there, that is the concept discussed. So the topic that we missed on a day 3, we covered on a day 4 actually. So I hope you never missed any of our scenarios. So the last 10 minutes, there is some technical glitch. So there are no topics discussed there. We just stopped there before 10 minutes. We continued the same topic in a day 4. You can see that all the scenarios that is part of scenario 3 that were in a day 4 training. So I hope this answer will helpful to you. So some of you are asking to repeat the previous scenarios here, something called as format painter. So let's quickly discuss this. There are 2 ways we can do a format painter. So one is single click on a format painter command, and the next one is double click on a format painter command. So here, so I want this particular formatting to be copied. So I want this particular formatting to be applied to some other cell. So you can see something called as format painter under a home command tab. Under a clipboard command set, you can see something called as format painter. So here, if you just click once, single click, if you make a single click, you can see that the particular cell is getting selected now. So from here, you can see that the mouse over with the format painter tool within it. It means that if I click on any other cell, the formatting that is available in a A5 that will be copied. We just clicked on some other location. So you can see that whatever the formatting that is applied on the particular cell, the same is applied to this particular cell. But if I click on some other cell now, you can see that there is no action taking place because it is applicable only once. Format painter, if you do a single click, you can able to apply the formatting to some other cell only once, not more than once. Similarly, if I double click, I just did a double click on a format painter. Now if I click on a one cell, you can see that formatting is applied. Again if I click on some other cell, you can see that formatting is applied. So this way, if I keep selecting or clicking on a cell, you can see that the formatting is applied continuously. So if you do a double click, you can able to apply the same formatting for a n number of times until you deactivate the format painter. How to deactivate the format painter? Press escape key or press F2. So if you go inside a cell or you can escape, you can see that the particular tool get deactivated from a particular window. So this way you can able to use format painter in two different ways. So I hope now everyone is clear about the concept of format painter. So let's move to our next topic here, something called as transformation. So transformation means we are going to change the rows into column values and column values into a row values. And Jay Krishnan, it's like very simple about the first one. Just you have to go here and double click. That's it. If you double click on a format painter, it will apply a number of times. So that is the difference between a single click and a double click. So other than that, everything is same. So coming back to this particular concept of transformation here. So we are going to change rows into columns and columns into row values. So that is the concept here. For that, first we have to copy the table. Use Control plus Shift plus V. Copy the table, use it's not Control Shift, it is Control plus Alt plus V. You can see here something called as paste special dialog box is opened in a system. Here what kind of action you want to do. Here you can see something called as transpose. Just click on a OK button. You can see now the headers are previously arranged in a column wise. Now you can see that headers are arranged in a row wise and the values are arranged in a different column. Now it is arranged in a different, earlier it was a different row, now it was a different column. So this way you can able to rearrange the data that is available in a row into column and column values into a row values. How to navigate to a paste special window. Control plus Alt plus V. activate a paste special dialog box. If I just press Control plus Alt plus V without selecting anything on a sheet, you can see that it won't get activated. If I just press Control plus Alt plus V, it won't get activated. It will get activate only if I select some values and then copy. If I click on a Control plus Alt plus V, now you can see that paste special window will be opened for a user. So it means that this particular window is applicable only if you copied something on a sheet. So otherwise it won't get activated. So this is the difference between a copying a data and then activating a paste special dialog box. So this dialog box applicable only if you copied something on a particular worksheet. So this way we can again select the same table, Control Alt V, and you can again, if you click on a transpose, click OK. Now you can see that again you can see the table is interchanged. Rows are interchanged into columns and columns are interchanged into a rows. So this way you can able to play around with the concept of transpose. Change rows into columns and change columns into rows. So this is the difference. So I hope everyone is clear about this particular concept of transpose. So I'm just reading the queries here. Single click one cell, double click multiple cell. Yes, it is correct, Jay Krishnan. So Asmita, do you want to repeat the same concept transpose once again? Okay, fine. So let's quickly, because this particular concept looks like simple, but it is very useful concept when work with Excel reporting, because changing rows into columns and columns into rows gains more importance. So I will repeat the same scenario here. So consider this your table. You want to change the column into rows and rows into columns. So select the particular table of your choice and then come down, select some other location, use Control plus Alt plus V. Control plus Alt plus V. You can see one dialog box is opened in a system, something called as paste special. You can see one dialog box opened in a system, something called as paste special. So you can see something called as transpose. You can see something called as transpose. Click OK. You can see that the location where you selected in a system, there you can see the values are arranged in a reciprocal way. That means row values are arranged into columns and column values are arranged into rows. So I hope everyone is clear about this particular concept now. So let's move to a next concept here, something called as multiple values. So here, if I press F2, you can see that the value inside a cell is going to be Excel 2010 only. Excel 2010 only. It is a single string or a value inside a particular cell. But if I come out of a cell, you can see that it looks like the particular cell is divided into two parts diagonally, and you can see Excel as a one portion and 2010 in a some other portion. So these are all like making a formatting, different kind of formatting on a cell we can do. So this will be helpful in some cases when you work with creating a Excel templates. So row values may be a year, and then column values may be a some text. So there are some cases we will use this kind of formatting as well. So what we will do here, so we'll type the same word here. You can see something called as format cells. Click on a format cells. Now you can see that format cells dialog box will get open in a system. And you can see something called as alignment, and then you can see something called as distributed. And you can change it as distributed so that you can distribute the values into a cell. And we'll create a border like this so that you can see a diagonal line. We can select the pattern color of our choice. So now you can see that it is going to be a single value only. It's going to be a single value only, but using this particular concept of alignment by distributed, using the concept of alignment by distributed, you can able to differentiate the values in the same cell into a two different places. Looks like the cell is divided into a two parts for a user, but actually it is going to be the single cell only. It's going to be the single value only. Just for the visual, we just did a formatting on a cell with the help of alignment and then the border diagonally. So this particular diagonal we just choose here. So you can select the style of your choice. So this way you can able to do a formatting on a cell with the concept of cell distribution. And say for example you are creating one table of content. So consider this is going to be the prints. In this particular case, whatever the cell value you provide, based on the width of a cell, it will map. Say for example, Excel 2010 day 5. Right? It is just based on your width of a particular cell, because we are not dividing any cell values here. We are just applying a formatting in such a way that it will look like it is distributed. See, I hope now you can see clearly about this particular concept. See, the values here, it will just distribute among a cell in a based on what is the border we provided. That's it. So it will never segregate any values here. It will never segregate any values here. For a user, it will look like this. 50% it will allocate to another diagonal and 50% of data to this particular diagonal based on a row height and a column width. So it is not about how many strings we have. It's all about what is the row height and the column width, and based on the length of a particular text it will distribute. Based on a length of a text it will distribute. Fine. So we are discussing about when you are creating a template. So there are some cases you are not supposed to change the column width. Column width is going to be the same here. If I type session timing, you can see that this particular string is not fitting into this particular column width. Either you have to increase the column width or we have to segregate this particular text into smaller, or we have to make it in a multiple lines. So say for example, we are having this going to be the header, right? There are some cases you will be working with the n number of a column. So in this particular case, you cannot change the column width. You cannot change the column width, but you are supposed to do something here so that this particular text session timings will get fit into this particular window. How we can do that? You can see something called as orientation here, text orientation. So you can use this particular concept. So you can select what is going to be the best fit. So without changing the columns, if you just increase the row height, you can able to fit this particular content. So you can able to give a try with the different options available there. So you can just select what is going to be the best fit. Something called as orientation. So using these options, you can able to fit your cell content with a fixed column width, so that you can able to cover what is going to be the column name for each column in a table of values. So using this particular concept of orientation, so under a home command tab, under a alignment command set, you can see something called as orientation. So here you can use all the options to change the orientation of a text, that is orientation of the header here. So I hope everyone is clear about this particular concept of formatting a header. So based on our reporting need in two different ways. One via distributed, and then next one is via orientation of a cell value. So I hope everyone is clear about this concept. So please confirm in the chat window so that we can proceed to a next topic for the day, fill series. So here questions, I will just look into the questions. So Prasad, your question here, after orientation there is some gap between the test. So what is that gap between the test? After orientation there is some gap between the test. So where is that gap all about? So I will just quickly repeat because some of you are not familiar with this particular concept. See, you can, if I press F2, you can see that the actual value is going to be the same only, whatever you type. We just use the concept of orientation here to change this particular formatting on a cell only. So it means that we just formatted into this particular command, rotate text up or rotate a text down. So we are not doing anything here. So based on our reporting need, you can able to select. So whatever the space you have, if you want to remove, you can remove here. If you come out, you can see that the space is getting removed. So and you can see some space at the top. It is because we given the row height as like this. So based on this particular concept of orientation, you can able to change your header to align within your corresponding column width. Without changing the column width, you can able to make sure the particular header name will be correctly aligned. So I hope now everyone is clear about this particular concept of multiple values, and then the concept here something called as text orientation as well. So let's move to our next topic. So it's going to be the first topic today, and we are going to see something new today, the concept of fill series. So we are going to start with a new topic for the day, something called as concept of fill series. So fill series, there are different kind of scenarios available here. So one is linear, the next one is growth, and the next one is date, and the next one is trend, and the next one is autofill. So there are 4 to 5 different kind of scenarios we are going to discuss in a fill series. So let's start with the fill series. What is fill series all about and how it works? Say for example, I'm just typing something on a screen now, something called as session. So under a home command tab, under a editing command set, you can see something called as fill. So we are going to use this particular concept. Under a editing command set, you can see something called as fill. So here you can see the list of options available, something called as down, and then something called as right, and then up, left, across worksheet, series, justify. So these are all the different commands available under a fill. So you can see that across a worksheet is not active now. So I will tell you how to activate it when you are working on that particular scenario. So now you can see how this particular fill works. We just have some text in a E4. So I want the same text to be available in a F4. So that is towards the right of the particular text. So if I click on a right, you can see now whatever the text that is available in a E4, that is applied to a F4. Similarly, if I want below, go to fill, you can see something called as down. If I click on a down, you can see that whatever the value that is available in a E4 is copied to a E5. Similarly, something called as left. If I click on a left, you can see that the value that is available in a previous cell, that is copied towards the left. Similarly, if I want this to be applied up, click on a up, you can see that the value is copied towards the up. So this way you can able to use the command fill, and within that you can see 4 different commands: down, right, up, and left. So based on your reporting need, you can able to use the different kind of options available here. So these are all the simple options available. So without that also you can able to copy some data, and we know the concept of Control D will copy paste towards the down, and then Control R will copy towards the right. So we know the shortcuts already. Control plus D and then Control plus R. So Control plus D and then Control plus R. Using this particular keyboard shortcuts, also you can able to copy towards the down and copy towards the right. But copy towards the left and copy towards the up is not possible using this particular keyboard shortcuts. So that can be possible only via the concept of fill. And these are all the simple commands we can use in a fill. So let's start with the first concept in fill series, something called as fill series linear. So fill series linear. So what is this all about? Say for example, I want to create a pattern of a string 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and goes on. So you can either manually type or you can use the concept of fill series. I repeat, I want to generate a pattern 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and goes on. So multiple, you can say that increment by plus 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So increment by plus 1, increment by plus 1, right? So this is the string pattern we are going to generate with the help of the concept fill series. Just first type the value from where you want to begin the string pattern and then go to fill and then you can see something called as series. Click on a series option here. You can see that series in rows or columns. So it is asking from the user, so from where you want to apply. You want to create a series in a different rows or you want to create a series in a different columns. So let's go by a rows first. Type linear. So linear means it is a addition. Linear means it is a addition and growth means it is a multiplication. And then we all know that date is all about, it will be applicable only when you are dealing with a date string pattern. And then I will tell you how autofill works. So let's go with the linear and then let's go with a series in rows. And here you can see something called as step value. So step value means, so what is the increment of next value? What is the next value increment? So here it is 1. I want to change it as 2. I have to addition 1 plus 1 equal to 2. Then 2 plus 1 equal to 3. So that is going to be the step value. You want increment by 1 or you want increment by 2 or whatever it is. So since you are working for the first time in this particular concept, let's go with a step value as 1. And then here you can see something called as stop value. Stop value means, say for example, we are going to create one string pattern. We told that it should be like 1, 2, 3, 4 and goes on. It is goes on. Where to stop that particular string pattern? You want to stop at the question 10. When it is 10 or 15 or 20, where you want to stop? When you want to stop. So let's make it as, I want to stop this particular string pattern when a value is greater than or equal to, or it should be applicable under a stop value 10. When you are dealing with a different scenario, we'll understand about the concept of stop value in a better. So let's click on a OK now. You can see that the string pattern is created using the fill series. So what happens here, we just went here and then under this particular series dialog box, we selected series in a rows. So it means that you can see all the values are in a same row. And the type is linear. Linear in the sense it is an addition. And then the step value is 1. So 1 plus 1 equal to 2. 2 plus 1 equal to 3 and then goes on. And we given the stop value as 10. So it gets stopped by when value becomes a 10. So this way you can able to create a string pattern by providing where you want to create in a single row or a single column. If I click on a column, you can see that values will be created in a single column. Linear. Let's go with a step value as 2. So 1 plus 2 equal to 3 and then 3 plus 2 equal to 5 and 5 plus 2 equal to 7. If I provide step value as a 2, it will create the string pattern only for a odd values. Only for a odd values it will create a string pattern. So where you want to stop? Stop when a stop value is 20. Click OK. Now you can able to see that the string pattern is created and displayed to the user. 1 plus 2 equal to 3 and 3 plus 2 equal to 5 and goes on. You can see till 19, but we given the stop value as 20 only, but we never see that particular value 20 here because 20 is a even value, and moreover 19 plus 2 is becoming a 21. So 21 is not falling under our stop value. So 21 is not falling under our stop value. So it stops the pattern by when a value is equal to 19. So I hope everyone is clear about this particular concept of fill series linear for a different step values. So please confirm the chat window so that we can proceed further. So why it is stopped at 19? The reason we given the stop value as a 20 only, but after a 19, the next value is going to be what? 19 plus 2. 19 plus 2 is 21. So 21 is not falling under our stop value 20. 21 is greater than 20. So it won't print. So we are going to see the concept of trend as a separate scenario here. Concept of trend is going to be the separate scenario, and I hope everyone is clear about the first scenario discussed here. And we'll see the concept of fill series, I mean generating a string pattern without a fill series. How we can do that? So we'll see three different scenarios here. Without a concept, without a option, fill series, how we can achieve the string pattern. So far we discussed two different scenarios here. With the use of fill series, how we can able to generate a string pattern. So now we are going to discuss how we can create a string pattern without using a fill series. Say for example, I just type 5 and then I type 10. So you can see what is the interval of a data, 5 and then 10. So the difference between the first and the second value is going to be 5. So when I drag this particular option, below, you can see that it is 15 and 20, 25 and goes on. So this way you can able to create a string pattern without a fill series. I'll be back in a minute. So using this particular concept, you can able to generate a string pattern without the help of fill series also. So it just look for what is the difference. Say for example, here I type it as 4, here I type it as 10. So you can see what is the difference between these two. It is 6. So the next value is going to be what? 16. 16 plus 6. 22. 22 plus 6. 28 and goes on. So this way you can able to generate a string pattern without the help of fill series also. And here, say for example, we just type it as 10 and here I type it as a 20 with some formatting, right? We just provide one fill color and then font color and then we just applied a bold. So it will consider not only the value of a cell, you can see how it works. 10, 20, you know that next value is going to be 30 only. Next value is 40, 50 and goes on. And here you can see that the alternative value, that each second value here, it is applied with whatever the formatting we applied on a particular cell, that same the fill series applied with the values as well as the formatting that we applied on a cell. Both the cell value as well as the formatting applied can be copied and used for a string pattern. So this way you can able to generate your string pattern without the concept of fill series also. You can able to create a plain string or you can able to create a string pattern with formatting. So it means that it considers cell formatting as well. String pattern generation, it will consider the cell formatting that is applied on a cell also. And the next one here is without a fill series with formula. With the formula, how we can achieve that? So far discussed about generating a string pattern without using the fill series option. And now we are going to generate a string pattern without the concept of fill series as well as additionally we are going to use formula. In it. Provide the cell reference 10 plus and then 10% of it. So what we did here, we are going to generate a string pattern now with the help of a formula that is going to be the previous value plus the 10% of the previous value. So that is going to be the case here. 10 plus 10% of the 10. So it is going to be obviously 1. So 10 plus 1 is going to be 11 here. So using this, we are going to generate a string pattern now. You can see it now. Press F2, it will refer to the previous cell address and then plus the 10% of the previous cell value. So 11 plus 10% of 11 is going to be the next value and goes on till our end of a range. So this way you can able to create a string pattern with the help of a formula as well. So we discussed about a different concept here. Fill series in row, fill series in a column using the concept of fill series linear. And here discuss about how to Do the same without the fill series. And then how to do it? With the cell formatting. And then we discussed about how to generate a string pattern with the formula. So I hope everyone is clear about this particular concept of fill series linear in different ways. Fine. So let's move to a next topic here, something called as fill series growth. So as I told you earlier, growth means it is a multiplication. Growth means it's going to be the multiplication. So let's see how it works. So let's start with 2 here. We'll try to generate a string pattern now using a growth. Go to fill, go to series, and then select columns. So it means that we are going to print all the values in a single column, and then select the type as growth and the step value as, we can provide the step value as what? Multiply by 3. Multiply by 3. 2 into 3 equal to 6, and 6 into 3 equal to 18. So that is going to be the string pattern. Step value is going to be 3. It means that earlier it will do a addition 2 plus 3, and now it will do a 2 cross 3 multiply. Stop value. Let's go by stop value as 100. Stop value. When a value become 100, stop it. Click OK. So now you can see that the string pattern is generated. So how it generated? 2 multiplied with 3. It is 6. Similarly, 6 multiplied with 3, 18. So that's why you see 18 here. And then 18 into 3, it is 54. That's why you see 54 here. 54 into 3, that is 162. It will try to print 162 here, but it can't, because we given the maximum, that is top value as 100 only. 162 is greater than 100, so it won't print the value to the user. It will stop by 54 only. It will stop by 54 only. So I hope everyone is clear about this particular concept now. How to use a fill series growth. It is very similar to linear. The only difference here, instead of addition, it will do a multiplication. How to generate the same pattern? How to generate the same pattern without the fill series command? 2 multiplied with 3. You can see here 2 multiplied with 3, and then similarly the previous value 6 multiplied with 3, and the previous value 18 multiplied with 3, and then goes on, and then goes on. So this way you can able to generate a string pattern for a growth fill series also without using the fill command. So different ways you can able to generate a string pattern. So here we just use a formula, the operator called as multiply. Multiply the cell value with the previous cell value with one number. So that is 3 here. So I hope everyone is clear about this concept of fill series growth. Fine. So let's move to a next concept here, something called as fill series date. So let's start with the first one. So there are different scenarios available here for a fill series date. So I just given the cell value as today's date. Go to fill and then click on a series. Click on a series in columns. Let's print the value in a same column only, and then you can see something called as type as date. It is already selected a date because system recognizes this particular format as a date. So if I select a growth or a linear, you can see that date unit is deactivated. The only when I click on a date, you can see that date unit is getting activated. You can see there are four different kinds of date units: day, weekday, month, and year. So we'll see one by one. So let's start with the day. And then step value. So what is the increment of a date you want? So today, tomorrow, and day after tomorrow, increment by 1 or increment by whatever it is. So based on that, we can provide. And the stop value. So when you want to stop this particular string pattern. So I want to stop by at the month of 12 and at the date of 10 year 2016. If I change here, instead of 12, if I change it to 13, click OK. What happens? Your entry can't be used, right? It means that this is not a right format of a date. You can see it in my system, it is month and then date. So it should be first month only. It's the first month only and then date. So what happens if I provide stop value as something different like 02 as a stop value. Click OK. You can see that it is generated nothing because the value that is provided by us, it is less than the current value. So we have to provide the highest value or the greater value than your start value. Click OK. So you can see that the dates are getting generated by the increment of one date. With the increment of one date, you can see it in a system. Similarly, there is a next concept, day unit, weekday. The series is going to be column and the type is going to be date and the day is going to be weekday. And let's see how it works. So let's start with the today's date. Series date. Let's go with the weekday. Stop value as, let's make it till 10th. Let's print it in a different column only. Weekday. Stop value as click OK. So now you can see that, now you can able to see that today So just for our understanding, I am doing this. You can see that it is a starting day which we given, so it's going to the first value. The next value is going to be what? It should be what? Fourth. But you can see that fourth is not printed. And Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, you can see here. We given till what? 10th of December. But you can see 10th of December is not printed. So you can observe that wherever it is a weekend, so it considers weekend as a Saturday and Sunday by default. So it will ignore the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, and then it will print only the weekday to the user. It will print only the weekday to the user. It will consider only Monday to Friday, and then it will generate the pattern to the user. So this way you can able to use the day unit as weekday, and the next one is going to be the day unit as month. It's going to be the month. Series in columns, and let's given it as 12/03/2017. So for next 1 year, I want to create a month unit. Let's go by step value as 1. It will skip 1 month in between. Click OK. So now you can able to see that till 2017 it will print a string pattern by skipping 1 month. So it is Feb, and then directly April, and then June, August, October, December. So this way, so based on whatever the step value and the stop value you provide, so based on that it will print the string to the user. And similarly, we can see something called as day unit as year. Day unit as here. Go to series and click on a columns and click on a here, and the stop value is going to be, it should be like not only the year as a stop value, you have to provide the corresponding date only. Right? So you can see that the series of dates are generated and displayed to the user, or generated and displayed to the user. So I hope everyone is clear about the concept of fill series with a date. So let's see some questions here. I hope, Dilip, you understand the concept why it should not be 12/4/2016. So you can able to provide any date greater than your start date, so that it will print the pattern to the user. If you provide any lesser date, it won't print, because it won't find what is going to be the stop value, because stop value is already over. So that is the difference. And one more question here. How you filled the days next to date? Okay. So that is not part of this particular concept. So we are going to discuss it. We are going to discuss it in our next session. But since you asked, I just tell you how it works. So this is the function called as a text. It will format a date into any format of your choice. Text, only two inputs. One is value and then next is going to be format text. In which format you want to format this particular text. Value, your date, and the format. Here we given it as a 4 Ds. So it will generate a day. If I given it as month, you can see what is the month. So if you provide as Y, you can see only the year. So this way, whatever the format text you provide here, based on that, it will print the values to the user. So we are going to discuss it in when you discuss about date related functions. So let's see something called as fill series trend. So the difference between the previous kind of string pattern with this particular fill series is all about we have to select the range first. In all our scenario discussed now, we never selected any range. We never selected any range first. We never selected a range. But here we have to select a range first. We have to select the range first and then go to fill and then go to series and then click on a trend. The moment when you click on a trend, right, you can see that step value and stop value, it will become deactivated because step value you can see it as 50 because 100 and 150, the difference between these particular two values are going to be 50. So you can see that step value is going to be 50 automatically and stop value we selected till this particular range. So whatever the value that will fall under till this particular cell value, it will print to the user. So this is the difference between selecting a trend and then without selecting a trend. If you are not selecting a trend, you have to provide your own step value and you have to provide your own stop value. If you click on a trend without providing your step value and the stop value, Excel will internally understand what is going to be the step value and where to stop. Where to stop at the end of a range, we have to stop. Click OK. Right. So this way you can able to see that all the cells in a range are filled with a string pattern based on the first two values provided here. Similarly, fill series autofill. So it is also similar to trend. First, select a range, go to series, click on a autofill. The moment when you click on autofill, you can see that again the step value and stop value will get deactivated from a system. So based on whatever the value that is available in a first two cells, the same will be printed to the user. So this is the different ways you can able to use the fill options. So far we have discussed about the down, right, up, left and a series. So we have remaining justify and across worksheet. So first we'll discuss about a justify and then we'll move to the concept of a across worksheet. So justify. So first we'll solve the scenario, then we will understand so what is justify and how it going to work. First select a range of a cell and then let's see how it works. So what I did here, I just increased the width of a column. So justify will work always based on the column width. Justify will work based on the column width. Fill, click on fill, justify. So you can see what is the difference happen now on a screen. Earlier it was like this. Excel as a separate string, training as a separate string, and then session 5 under Manipal. So all these particular text are a separate strings. If I increase the column width, and go here, if I click on a justify, based on the column width, it will try to concatenate a string. It will join a string into a single string. Similarly, if I decrease the column width, go to fill, justify, you can see that warning message, text will extend below selected range. Click OK. You can see it now. Again it gets splits the string into a multiple rows from a single row. So this is the concept of justify. Based on the column width, it will split the string or it will join the string. So I hope everyone is clear about the concept of justify. So it's all about based on your column width, it will either split a string or it will join a multiple string. So I hope everyone is clear about the concept of justify, and let's see very similar concept, something called as text to columns. Repeat multiple to single cell justify. Okay. So I will repeat this particular concept. So since you asked, I just adding a numbers also here. So first select a range. If you increase the column width, based on your column width, based on the space available, it will join the string into a one string. You can see a warning message here. Can't justify cells containing numbers or formulas. But in this case, if you add a single quote before a number, and then if you try to justify, you can see that all the values are joined into a single string. And if you want to split it back, go to fill, click on a justify, click OK. You can see based on the column width, it will split the string. If you want to split it again, you can again decrease the value of a column width. Go to fill and then click on a justify. Right? So I hope everyone is clear about now the concept of justify. So what I will do here, I will just make it as a single cell. Let's copy to a columns to a text to a columns. So here we just splitted the values into a different cells using a justify. How to achieve the same? How to achieve the same with the help of text to columns. How to do the same with the help of text to columns? Go to data command tab. Under data tools command set, you can see something called as text to columns. So it will separate the content of one cell into a separate columns. So it's all about splitting a string. That's it. So using a fill justify, you can able to join a string or you can able to split a string based on the column width. Similarly here we are going to split a single string into a multiple string based on certain criteria. So how we can achieve that? Click on a text to columns. Here it will ask you to choose the file type that best describes your data. So let's go with a delimited. What is delimited? Characters such as commas or tabs separate each field. Let's see what is all about. Click on a next. So what is the delimiter we use here? So now tab is not going to delimiter. You can see space. You can see space. If I click on a space, you can see at the end of each text, at the end of each string, there is a space. Based on that, it will get splitted. You can see the data preview also here. If I uncheck, it won't get split. If I click on a space, you can see it. So based on that, if your data contains semicolon or a comma or whatever the separator you have, if it is other, click on other and you can say, for example, even for this particular space, I just clicked on a other, clicked on a what? Space. You can see that everything is getting selected. And then again click on a next. So what is the column data format you want? General or a text? So I want it as a text. Click on a second tab. Change it to text. Third tab. Change it to text. If you are dealing with the date, you can use the date format as well. And then where is the destination you want? You want the destination. So let's choose some other destination here. Click finish. You can see that one cell value, that is one string, is splitted into 5 different strings based on a separator called as comma. But in this case, it should be what? Space. Let's see by comma. So let's say, for example, we have a string like this, and I want to split, go by a delimited, next, instead of a space, it should be comma. And you can see the data preview here. Click next, change it to general or a text of your choice, finish. You can see that string is splitted into a 3 different strings in a separate cells. So this way you can able to play around with the text to columns. And there are some cases, if you are having a text like this, or let's give a meaningful. right? So this is going to be the text you are having now. So you want to split. Go to text to columns. Let's go with a fixed width. Next, here you can create your own separator. Just click wherever you want to insert a arrow symbol. Based on that, it will split. So you can drag and drop. Click wherever you want to insert a breakpoint. So wherever we inserted this column breaks, based on that, all the data will be splitted. Click next and then click on a finish. You can see that one cell value becomes splitted into a separate cell value based on a fixed width that is provided by a user. So based on this, you can able to play around with say delimited or a fixed width. You can do the same with the help of justify column width, or you can do the same with the concept of text to a columns. So I hope everyone is clear about the concept of justify and then text to a columns. Right? So we'll move to a next concept, something called as fill across. We'll move to a next concept, something called as fill across. To understand this particular concept, so I just have two worksheets that is created newly here without any data into it. Without any data into it, I just created a two worksheets. So let's start with the first scenario. Select a particular range of a sheet. Select a particular range in a sheet and then select some worksheets. First select a range and then select another some worksheets and then go to home command tab, go to fill under a editing command set. Now you can see that across a worksheets. If I click on across the worksheets, it will ask for three different options. All you want to copy, or you want to copy only the content, or you want to copy the format. So three different ways we can do. So you can see here in the system now, fill across sheet name. We just selected a range B5 to B9. B5 to B9, we selected a range. So now, and then after selecting, we selected two more worksheets. That is a empty worksheets we just selected. If I go by fill all, if I click OK, if I go and see sheet 17 and sheet 16, whatever the range that is selected by us in a sheet named as fill across, the same will be applied to the sheet 17 and sheet 16. Similarly, if I select this particular range, we'll select again sheet 17 and sheet 16. Select and then select a sheet, go to fill across a worksheet. let's copy only the format. Copy only the format. Go to sheet 17 and sheet 16 you can see only the formatting that is applied on a cell that will be copied and displayed to the user. So this way you can able to use the concept of fill across under a fill option. So this way you can able to copy a range of cell value from one place to another place. So I hope everyone is clear about the concept of fill across. Right? So I hope everyone is clear about the concept of fill across. So we can move to the next topic, the next new topic, all about sort and filter. We are going to discuss now about the concept of sort and filter. So let's start with the filter. To begin with the filter, we have to select the entire range first. Select the entire range first. Go to sort and filter. I will just uncheck and then filter it again. So filter, apply a filter to this particular table. If you go and click on a drop down, you can see that what is the unique values that is available in this particular table. So these are all the 4 unique values that is available. And select, you can select any one region or a multiple region of your choice and then click OK. So here you can see that the row values that is related to the region named as East and South alone will be displayed to the user, and then you can able to select all, you can unselect all. So this is one way, and you can see something called as filter by color and then text filter. So if I go by filter by color, you can see filter by cell color, filter by cell color. If I click any one of a color, the data that is related to only that particular fill color will be filtered and displayed to the user. Similarly, if I provide some font color, if I provide some font color and see now, if I go by filter by color, you can see how many options. Filter by cell color, that is one option. Filter by font color is another one option. You can able to select by filter by font color as well. So 2 different ways of filtering by color we saw. And here, if I go by filter by color, you can see that 3 different ways we can able to filter by a color. Filter by cell color, filter by font color, filter by a cell icon. So we discussed about filter by cell color, we discussed about filter by a font color, and you can see something called as filter by a cell icon. If I click on this particular icon, you can see that whatever the row values that is available with a particular icon, that will be filtered, displayed to the user. So you can see something called as clear filter from. Click on a clear filter. You can see that all the values displayed here. So we discussed about filter by color in 3 different ways. And then you can see something called as text filter. Text filter. If I go by contains a text. If I type it as TH and then click OK, you can see that whatever the text that contains a TH, that will be filtered and displayed to the user. And here, You can see it is not only contains, you can be able to give a try with text equals, does not equal, begin with, end with, does not contain, as well as the custom filter. So we already discussed about this particular different types of providing a criteria in a conditional formatting. So based on that, you can able to select. So you can able to select more than one region here. So first we provide as a contains th, contains the th as well as equal to the unique values, equal to the unique values, that is east. So you can see that nothing that has a combination. So let's go back to custom filter and check. Why? Because we provide as and. If I make it as or, click OK, you can see that it should contain the th or ends with the east. So based on that, all the values are filtered and displayed to the user. Go back, clear a filter. So we discussed about the text filter and then a color filter, and we have number filter and a date filter. So number filter, let's come to rate. You can see a number filter here. So number we can able to play around, equal, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, between. So whatever it is. So let's see one type here, top 10. Top 10. Click OK. You can see that the top 10 values are filtered and displayed to the user. Clear and go back, number filter. Greater than the value 50,000. Click OK. Right. So based on whatever the value you provide, so based on that it will filter the value and display it to the user. Clear the filter, and the next set of filter is something called as a date filter. So this particular filter will recognize what is the type of data that is available in a particular column range. So based on that, it will show the filter option to the user. Either it is filter by color, date filter, text filter, or a number filter. There are 4 different kind of filters available. So date filter, last month. So you can able to see that what is the day sales performed in a last month, last quarter. So what are all the sales that is performed in a last quarter is getting displayed to the user. So this way you can able to play around with a different concept available under a text filter, number filter, date filter, and then a color filter, color by font color, color by cell color, and then with the icon set color. So we can able to apply a color filter with 3 different ways. So I hope everyone is clear about this particular concept of filter. So please let us know if you have any doubts, or we can proceed further. Fine. So let's discuss the next concept here, something called as, I will just remove the filter. So we'll see the next concept, something called as sorting. Click on a custom sort. So you can see something called as add level and then delete level and then copy level. Let's see one by one. Sort by, you can see the header names. So let's go by a region. So sort based on a what value, cell color, font color, or a cell icon. So these are all the different options we discussed in a filter. Let's go by a values, A to Z or a Z to A. Let's give it as a Z to A. Click OK. You can see that the values are getting sorted. Go to custom sort again. You can see something called as a add level. Click on a add level and then go by whatever the sorting level of your choice. Go by rate. Let's go by a cell icon. If I click on a sort on by cell icon, you can see that what are the list of cell icons available. So you can select based on whatever cell icon it is, either by on top or by a bottom you want to sort. Click OK. You can see that correspondingly the data are sorted. And again, if you want to add one more level, click on a level and select the corresponding option. And if you want to delete any one level, select on a particular level and you can delete. Or if you want to copy, select and then copy a level, you can see that it is copied. You can use move up or a move down. Use this particular arrow keys. Select, click on a move down, you can see that it is moved down to the user. So here you can select based on your choice and then click OK. So based on that your value will get sorted. So if you want to delete any one level, click on any one level and then you can see something called as a delete level. Just click on a delete level. So based on that you can able to play around with the different levels of sorting, and you can see something called as my data as headers. If I uncheck, you can see that there is no header names are displayed, only the column names are displayed. So if a data as headers, click on my data as a header. Otherwise it will consider the first row also as a value. So based on your choice, you can able to check or uncheck my data as headers. Click OK. So this way you can able to play around with the custom sorting. So I hope everyone is clear about the concept of sorting here. So let's move to a next concept, something called as advanced filter. So advanced filter is something different concept here. This is also used to filter the data but in a different way. So how we can achieve that? To work with we needed two tables here. To work with advanced filter, we need two tables here. So one is your parent table where you have the data, and then next is going to be the table with only the criteria. So before we start with advanced filter, let's understand. So what is the mandate for this particular concept? Two tables are mandate for this particular concept. One is your table with the data, and then next one is your table with only the criteria. So it means that we are going to filter data that has a sales greater than or equal to 25,000 as well as quantity should be greater than or 20. Only if these particular two criteria matches, based on that it will filter the data. So that is going to be the concept. Go to data command tab and then you can see something called as sort and filter. Under a sort and filter you can see something called as advanced. If you just click on advanced, you can see there are two different kind of actions we can perform. Filter the list in place, and then next one is copy to another location. Copy to another location. So which one you want to select? Let's go by filter the list in place. For a first scenario, list range is going to be your table where you contains the data. Criteria range is going to be the second table where you have only the criteria, not the value. So list range is going to be your table which contains the data, and then criteria range is going to be the second table which contains only the criteria. And then click OK. Now you can able to see that data are getting filtered and displayed to the user based on this particular option. If a quantity should be greater than or equal to 20, as well as the sales amount should be greater than or equal to 25,000. This is one way, and the next way is copy to another location. Filter the list in place and copy to some other location. So copy to where? So where is the location? So let's provide the location here. Click OK. Now you can able to see that the first table here, it is getting filtered and created a separate table altogether and displayed to the user based on whatever the criteria we provided here. And if I change the criteria into greater than 25 and sales as greater than 50,000, you can see that there is no change happening. If I refresh all, also it won't get changed. So it means that you have to go back to advanced filter and check for the range. It is 23 to 24. Select your corresponding criteria, and then if you want to copy to another location, select the corresponding location as well. Now click OK. So you can see it here. So what is the data that is applicable for quantity should be greater than 25 as well as sales should be greater than or equal to 50,000. So based on that table will be filtered as a separate table and displayed to the user. So this way you can able to use the concept of advanced filter in a Excel. So I hope everyone is clear about the concept of advanced filter. Please let us know if you have any doubts, or we can move to the last topic for the day, something called as grouping. Fine. So let's move to the last concept for the day, something called as grouping. To understand this particular concept, I will just create 2 more dummy sheets here. First, we have to select the sheets. If you right click, you can see that something called as ungroup sheets. It means that if you select a multiple sheets altogether, it means that you group the particular group of a worksheet. Now, if I type something here, concept of grouping. If I go to sheet 18 and sheet 19, you can see that whatever the action we do on a grouping sheet, the same will get applied to a sheet 18 and a sheet 19. If I create some table, and then if I type some values into it, if I go to sheet 18, you can see that the same table with the formatting with all the values will be printed. Similarly for a sheet 19, if I right click, if I ungroup a sheet now, if I do anything in a group sheet, if I go and check for a E11 value in a sheet 18 and a sheet 19, you cannot see that particular values. So this is the use of going for a grouping. If you go for a grouping, whatever the actions you perform on a one worksheet, the same will be applicable to another worksheet as well. So until then you ungroup a particular worksheet, it will get printed. Whatever the actions you do, that will get printed to a grouped sheet as well. So I hope everyone is clear about this particular concept of grouping and what is the use of a grouping. So this is what planned today: format painter, multiple values, and then transformation and fill series, linear, growth, date, autofill, and a shen, and then justify, fill across, filter and sorting, and then advanced filter, and then we discussed about a concept of a grouping. So we are done with today's topic. So I will just stop